capacity. Hundreds of men, women and children have gathered there seeking asylum, many claiming that they're looking to escape gang violence. They're likely going to try again tomorrow to cross into the United States. The Trump administration has called the group a threat and is urging those families to go through proper legal channels. Joining me now is syndicated columnist Ann Coulter. Ann, how are you doing? Nice to see you.
Nice to see you, Steve.
All right, so I suspect you've got a lot to say about this. Let's go with what's going on down there at the border right now with a caravan. What's your take on the caravan and what the Trump administration is doing about it?
Well, I wish Trump would just stay on the road like he was in campaign mode again, because he gets instant feedback from the crowd, and that's when he says really popular things that get Republicans elected and could possibly defend against a blue wave. But then he gets back to Washington, and he's not doing anything about the caravan. I mean, he sent out a tweet a few weeks ago saying, "Oh, don't worry. Thanks, Mexican government has stopped the caravan." And then the Daily Mail goes to Mexico and says, "No, we haven't stopped the caravan. We're giving them 30-day passes, 20-day passes to make sure that they can make it to America." They're not all traveling with the caravan anymore, but they're spreading out so they can go to different access points. They are 100% still coming. All they have to do is step across the border. Oh, and they have lots of lawyers from countries without borders advising them. This is a political attack on our nation by a political group that doesn't believe nations should have borders. They're advised, they're told what to say. They step across the border, they say asylum, and that's it. They're going to get shipped in, and we'll get another round of MS-13 and another round of MS-13. I mean, Trump has a lot of power.
Yeah.
He was the one who was elected. It's Republicans and Congress that the American people hate. If he wants Congress to pass this law, it wouldn't be very hard. Maybe if he spent a little more time on making America great again and not working on making South Korea and China great again, he could get back to pressuring Congress to do something for the American people. And that would be pass a law saying you don't just get to step in and say, "I'm claiming asylum," and then get a bus and a box lunch into America.
And then there's also the point about the wall. I mean, these pictures, I can't think of anything that's a more direct argument for what he was saying all along, which you know doesn't seem to be happening.
No, and I mean, there's a reason that became the chant. If you go back and look at his famous, Mexican rapist speech announcing his candidacy, he talks about a lot of things. He threw out tax cuts, Obamacare, the military, blah, blah, blah. It was from going out and giving these speeches and having, a 10,000-person focus group every day of the campaign that he saw which lines were the popular ones. Well, there's a reason that the American people, unlike the donors, wanted a wall. A wall is the only thing that will work. You don't check with the people whose jobs are going to be made obsolete to find out if they need a wall. No, we just need drones and more border police. No, we want a wall for a reason, to stop the heroin, to stop the caravans, and he has 100% power to build a wall. He's the commander-in-chief. His duty is, his number one duty is to protect the borders. It's not to resolve North and South Korea's, dispute. That's not our problem. North Korea is China's problem. The Syria is Europe and France's problem. Mexico is our problem. So, I mean, are European newspapers consumed with what's going to happen with Mexico and the caravan? Are Chinese and South Korean newspapers worried about illegal immigrants coming into America and draining our people dry? No, they aren't. Why are we worried about their problems? That was the whole point of Make America Great Again.
You are you are the true purist. I love it. So listen, you mentioned jobs earlier. You noticed something in the president's rally last night that was very interesting. Hasn't got picked up that much. Let's play it, and I'll get your reaction on the other side.
And for the farmers, okay, it's going to get good. And we're going to let your guest workers come in, because we're going to have strong borders, but we have to have your workers come in. The unemployment picture is so good, it's so strong, that we have to let people come in. They're going to be guest workers. They're going to come in. They're going to work on your farms. We're going to have the H-2Bs come in. We're going to have a lot of things happening, but then they have to go out. Then they have to go out.
So what's that about?
Well, please first notice that it's dead silence through that entire blather until he gets to, and then they're going to have to go out. That's why I want him giving speeches nonstop so he can get this feedback. I don't know what this is about. You tell me, because the way I remember it, we did not elect Jeb Bush. I was completely sure we elected Donald Trump. Where he gets this nonsense, and the H-2B visas he's talking about are absolutely the worst you could possibly come up with. They aren't farm workers, and by the way, the farmers can build robots. I don't know if you've ever used an ATM, but maybe it's time for farmers to move into the 20th century. Leaving that aside, that's not what H-2B visas are. It's for working at places like Mar-a-Lago, working at in entertainment and resorts and restaurants and construction. The most important jobs, I would add, now that, you know, he and Kanye are bonding, most important jobs for African Americans. I mean, he gave that beautiful speech in Milwaukee saying to African Americans, what have the Democrats given you? Give us a chance. This is how you would give African Americans and, you know, all working class Americans a chance. They didn't ask for a tax cut. They asked for jobs. These are jobs. And he's standing up at a rally promising to bring in H-2B workers. That was the whole Disney thing. Remember, that was a big deal during the debate. It hurt Marco Rubio.
Yes. And
it's going to hurt Trump.
Totally agree.
I mean, I hear these speeches, and all I can see is a huge blue wave, a blue tsunami. But there is still time. Trump can bring it back. One piece of good news. I'm sorry, I'm going on like this endless monologue, but one piece of good news, Steve, is yesterday's New York Times had an article saying that Trump is disregarding the advice from the loser Republicans, i.e. Paul Ryan and Mitch McConnell, to talk about tax cuts. Because he finds those issues boring, and he would prefer to talk about immigration and trade. I am 100% with the president on that, and that's the only way to stop a blue wave.
A lovely moment of unity to end on. Anne, thank you so much. See you soon.
Thank you.
Security number with which to claim the tax credit as long as their child has one. The House version is stricter and does important things, but nonetheless, it is still a tax credit, requiring the taxpayer, though, to provide their own Social Security number in order to be able to claim the refundable portion of the credit. Joining me tonight, political commentator, best-selling author, syndicated columnist, and legendary icon. Good to have you with us. It is, you know, and it's absolutely true. You have been fighting the left in this country for quite a long time now, and with immeasurable success. Obviously, President Trump helped a bit in 2016.
Yes, he did.
Could you have possibly imagined that the president would have achieved what he has in terms of the economy, markets, and rolling back regulation, setting a whole new tone for this country?
What I didn't realize was how real the swamp is. I mean, he is really being opposed by all of official Washington, D.C., which is why it's unfortunate that so many of his appointees are part of the swamp, because they're fighting him. And the media, I hated before. Wow, do I hate them now, until they are utterly discredited.
By the way, look into the camera, because watching you right now are tons of Americans who see it exactly that way. The left-wing media is driving the support of this president, I think, in large measure.
Oh, I totally agree.
He is standing up despite, as you say, being attacked, assailed every day from every quarter.
Viciously with lies.
I'm sorry?
Viciously with lies. I mean, he's absolutely right on the fake news. I mean, the funny thing, I'm obviously a little testy with him because we don't have our wall yet. But then the media attacks him and they bring me back to defending him.
Right.
You know, I'm like a sitting duck. You could get me to attack him. I'm mad that we don't have a wall. But no, every day it's some outrageously unfair attack and they bring me back in.
Well, you have to, and by the way, I want the wall. I want the wall now. I wanted it actually 6 months ago. Though that may not be realistic, but having the wall next year is definitely realistic. And secondly, you have to credit the Trump administration for having the lowest, I was about to say immigration rate, crossover rate of that border. in recent memory.
Right. I mean, what concerns me about that is, I mean, this is why I supported him. I think he's still living off the rhetoric of the campaign, and that was an important campaign.
That's not fair. I mean, we're talking about substantial, concrete, highly specific achievements, and I just enumerated just some of them.
The fact that fewer illegal immigrants are trying to cross in that is a result of his rhetoric. It is not because we have a wall. He is allowing ICE to do their job, but all of the things that we like that's happening, it goes away like that with the next president. Only a wall is forever. That's what people were chanting.
Did I just hear you hold him not only accountable for his campaign promises to the American people, but for the next 3 or 4 presidents, say, as well?
Oh, for the next millennium.
Yeah, well, I think he's making a pretty good run at it because he has reversed the course under, you may remember Barack Obama. We were looking into the abyss with that man's leadership.
No, I think that's part of the reason for the hysteria from the left, from the media, from the deep state, from the swamp. Yeah. They were just about to tip the country. They almost had it.
That's why do you
4
think
more
that they
years of illegal immigrants and legal immigrants, and the entire country would be the state of California. They could taste it. They were so close. Republicans would be gone, gone, gone. So we really need Trump. I mean, if he wants to...
I'm glad to hear you moving at least in this direction, because...
What direction?
The direction of recognizing that there is no possibility whatsoever that we could have survived another, well, a Hillary Clinton.
But the same is true if Trump doesn't keep his promises.
And that we would not have been able to defeat Hillary Clinton
with anyone but Trump.
That's
no, and that's absolutely true. No, I have no regret for...
And by the way, did you notice
but he's got to fulfill his
promises? Growing about...
You know... Okay, I want to talk to you about that. You better stop bragging about that because the stock market is going to crash and it's not going to be his fault.
The stock market is going to what?